Don't we get involved in 4 years? Don't we get involved in 4 years? If there is a chance of a storm, I will not go out. If there is a chance of a storm, I will not go out. Should it sink? Should it sink? Can I be a geographer every week? Can I be a geographer every week? Self. Self. His half-brother is a blacksmith. His half-brother is a blacksmith. They do not encourage. They do not encourage. Could have let to midnight earlier. Could have let to midnight earlier. Weren't they often translators? Weren't they often translators? Will usually include. Will usually include. Can we suggest? Can we suggest? Are your cousins the protagonist? Are your cousins the protagonist? Were we getting taller every day? Were we getting taller every day? Can't be the organizer after 2 centuries? Can't be the organizer after 2 centuries? May not be connected before. May not be connected before. He has a lot of money. He has a lot of money. Can't you wait a second? Can't you wait a second? Is your half-sister a stylist? Is your half-sister a stylist? Too crowded. Too crowded. Not a judge next year. Not a judge next year. He works hard to support his family. He works hard to support his family. Weren't we the judge? Weren't we the judge? You are inside Isabel's house. You are inside Isabel's house. I love climbing mountains and discovering new roads. I love climbing mountains and discovering new roads. Couldn't it be a scavenger 2 days ago? Couldn't it be a scavenger 2 days ago? You accepted. You accepted. Good morning. How are you feeling today? Good morning. How are you feeling today? You are not normally a cashier. You are not normally a cashier. I have never eaten this. I have never eaten this. At the end of the month, we will have finished the project. At the end of the month, we will have finished the project. Usually denied. Usually denied. You should be fired. You should be fired. He was not an alchemist before. He was not an alchemist before. The disease spread rapidly and affected many people in the community. The disease spread rapidly and affected many people in the community. Was your neighbor a sailor? Was your neighbor a sailor? They may not be on guard after 3 hours. They may not be on guard after 3 hours. We will have lunch and then we will go to the park. We will have lunch and then we will go to the park. He decided to run to clear his mind. He decided to run to clear his mind. I wrote a poem for my English class. I wrote a poem for my English class. Will he be a journeyman? Will he be a journeyman? Your mother was a lawyer. Your mother was a lawyer. His grandmother was a urologist. His grandmother was a urologist. Our granddaughter was the nanny. Our granddaughter was the nanny. His behavior is unacceptable. His behavior is unacceptable. Which teams should be involved in such a solution? Which teams should be involved in such a solution? I was seeing so much that I couldn't see anything. I was seeing so much that I couldn't see anything. He played video games all day. He played video games all day. I can be a cleaner in a year. I can be a cleaner in a year. Will we always be virologists? Will we always be virologists? Then it won't include 2 in the morning. Then it won't include 2 in the morning. We want 4 tickets, please. We want 4 tickets, please. Should he forget? Should he forget? May I help you? May I help you? Chatty, chatty. Will we not borrow? Will we not borrow? He is managing. He is managing. Can't you ever bother? Can't you ever bother? Am I taking advantage? Am I taking advantage? They should not be suspicious. They should not be suspicious. You should sell. You should sell. We must accept. We must accept. The color is so striking. The color is so striking. My cousins were in command. My cousins were in command. We can take a break after finishing this task. We can take a break after finishing this task. Can he propose next year? Can he propose next year? Should I be a columnist next year? Should I be a columnist next year? I could feel the adrenaline running through my veins. I could feel the adrenaline running through my veins. I'm going to take the English test. I'm going to take the English test. His neighbor was an esthetician. His neighbor was an esthetician. I'm in the room at the top of the stairs. I'm in the room at the top of the stairs. I will dress. I will dress. Not the immediate operator. Not the immediate operator. I came back for you but you were gone. I came back for you but you were gone. Don't we trade annually? Don't we trade annually? Do you play any instrument? Do you play any instrument? It takes 10 years to eat. It takes 10 years to eat. What day is it today? What day is it today? Were his parents foremen? Were his parents foremen? Please avoid strenuous activities for the next few weeks. Please avoid strenuous activities for the next few weeks. I have a lot of respect. I have a lot of respect. You can give a job. You can give a job. Does it always have to be suppressed? Does it always have to be suppressed? Painful burning sensation in the chest. Painful burning sensation in the chest. I will apply for a job tomorrow. I will apply for a job tomorrow. Does he care at night? Does he care at night? I'm going to the market to buy some chicken. I'm going to the market to buy some chicken. I want to eat healthy food. I want to eat healthy food. We are never cream. We are never cream. No afternoon esthetician. No afternoon esthetician. I have 2 sisters. I have 2 sisters. Rewrite and expand the text below for John. Rewrite and expand the text below for John. His sister was an inventor. His sister was an inventor. We must refuse at sunset. We must refuse at sunset. It was too small for my ring finger. It was too small for my ring finger. I've never taught in 2 seconds before. I've never taught in 2 seconds before. I don't notice anything special about the event. I don't notice anything special about the event. Should we be housewives in the twilight? Should we be housewives in the twilight? Should I be a columnist next year? Should I be a columnist next year? Was his friend a paramedic? Was his friend a paramedic? I don't want to like machines. I don't want to like machines. What is breakfast included? What is breakfast included? I'm traveling after 3 weekends. I'm traveling after 3 weekends. Won't he be a congressman by sunset? Won't he be a congressman by sunset? I don't kick. I don't kick. I am not developing. I am not developing. How much is a sweet? How much is a sweet? There were many examples. There were many examples. Would he be an athlete every year? Would he be an athlete every year? It does not work normally. It does not work normally. weekly consultant, weekly consultant. I can't believe this happened. I can't believe this happened. Loses often, loses often. They were playing chess when they realized it was midnight. They were playing chess when they realized it was midnight. Shouldn't I conclude at dawn? Shouldn't I conclude at dawn? They will not tell. They will not tell. I won't be playing at 5 after midnight. I won't be playing at 5 after midnight. Can we check it annually? Can we check it annually? After a month they can become carpenters. After a month they can become carpenters. Can we get fit? Can we get fit? Was it 5 inspectors the previous morning? Was it 5 inspectors the previous morning? Are there mothers' maids? Are there mothers' maids? Did he often write lyrics? Did he often write lyrics? Their husbands were stockbrokers. Their husbands were stockbrokers. What did you have? What did you have? Was your brother a baker? Was your brother a baker? Some of my favorite foods are pizza and ice cream. Some of my favorite foods are pizza and ice cream. Does it warn you at sunrise? Does it warn you at sunrise? Am I expanding? Am I expanding? He is an adult and can make his own decisions. He is an adult and can make his own decisions. A writer should write as he should breathe. A writer should write as he should breathe. I am absolutely counting on you to help me with this project. I am absolutely counting on you to help me with this project. Can't it cause this every year? Can't it cause this every year? International. International. We were studying for the exam when the fire alarm went off. We were studying for the exam when the fire alarm went off. I'm so bored and don't know what to do. I'm so bored and don't know what to do. They could control it 2 years ago. They could control it 2 years ago. It's 7:45. It's 7:45. I'll run a few tests to determine the problem. I'll run a few tests to determine the problem. When are you leaving school? When are you leaving school? Would they seek? Would they seek? Shouldn't we cut it after a century? Shouldn't we cut it after a century? Is her colleague a pharmacist? Is her colleague a pharmacist? Do you know of a good restaurant in this area? Do you know of a good restaurant in this area? You can lay tiles after 3 months. You can lay tiles after 3 months. Are we welders every week? Are we welders every week? Is our brother an orthopedist? Is our brother an orthopedist? We have a wide variety of flavored syrups. We have a wide variety of flavored syrups. I don't have much time. I don't have much time. My head is aching. My head is aching. Should I do it occasionally? Should I do it occasionally? Shouldn't he create it 3 centuries later? Shouldn't he create it 3 centuries later? We will have lunch and then we will go to the park. We will have lunch and then we will go to the park. Do you have a dream? Do you have a dream? She will be an esthetician every year. She will be an esthetician every year. What food do you usually eat? What food do you usually eat? They were jogging in the park early in the morning. They were jogging in the park early in the morning. No urologist after 4 nights. No urologist after 4 nights. Could he never be a doctor? Could he never be a doctor? Fill it. Fill it. Isn't he judging now? Isn't he judging now? Constant. Constant. Can you be responsible? Can you be responsible? If there is no fog, I will go out. If there is no fog, I will go out. And we're wondering what the character limit is for this field. And we're wondering what the character limit is for this field. Now what is this road sign? Now what is this road sign? Our daughter is a comedian. Our daughter is a comedian. If it's cold, I won't go out. If it's cold, I won't go out. Isn't he an astronomer at dawn? Isn't he an astronomer at dawn? I bought a new shirt at the mall. I bought a new shirt at the mall. Then they don't sell. Then they don't sell. I'm in the curtained room. I'm in the curtained room. Should I fit in an annual? Should I fit in an annual? Should not complain at noon. Should not complain at noon. Are we immediately historians? Are we immediately historians? Doctors will operate in the hospital. Doctors will operate in the hospital. His brother-in-law is president. His brother-in-law is president. The dancers will perform at the ballet next month. The dancers will perform at the ballet next month. Yes, what about the rest of the countries? Yes, what about the rest of the countries? Aren't we going to be rangers soon? Aren't we going to be rangers soon? Shouldn't they be solving? Shouldn't they be solving? Significant. Significant. Your son was a blacksmith. Your son was a blacksmith. I will watch TV. I will watch TV. His brother-in-law is a farmer. His brother-in-law is a farmer. Can I add often? Can I add often? Shouldn't they notice yearly? Shouldn't they notice yearly? Teresa has fewer grapes than Isabel. Teresa has fewer grapes than Isabel. It would be connected in 2 weeks. It would be connected in 2 weeks. Is their spouse a developer? Is their spouse a developer? You won't be a designer soon. You won't be a designer soon. Didn't they appear a month ago? Didn't they appear a month ago? Am I not tempted a century later? Am I not tempted a century later? I'm sorry I offended you. I'm sorry I offended you. Does it sign annually? Does it sign annually? She was cooking dinner while she showered. She was cooking dinner while she showered. He will start his new job next week. He will start his new job next week. When is the restaurant open? When is the restaurant open? Rarely can they be trusted? Rarely can they be trusted? I had seen the movie before but wanted to watch it again. I had seen the movie before but wanted to watch it again. Finally, after analyzing the data, we can come to a conclusion. After analyzing the data, we can come to a conclusion. He was a docker at sunset. He was a docker at sunset. Do you have to answer at 5 p.m.? Do you have to answer at 5 p.m.? Can monthly start? Can monthly start? Is your brother a consultant? Is your brother a consultant? Was I set? Was I set? Rarely does it match. Rarely does it match. Can she be a waitress now? Can she be a waitress now? Couldn't he be an analyst later at 4 p.m.? Couldn't he be an analyst later at 4 p.m.? My sister was a hydrologist. My sister was a hydrologist. Did it change? Did it change? English is the language of the empire. English is the language of the empire. He reads the newspaper every morning. He reads the newspaper every morning. Vaccine. Vaccine. Are you working on Sunday? Are you working on Sunday? He could not guess. He could not guess. Can you increase? Can you increase? Do they create? Do they create? I'll be working on my thesis all day tomorrow. I'll be working on my thesis all day tomorrow. May luck be on our side. May luck be on our side. Did it rain? Did it rain? Should he harvest at dawn? Should he harvest at dawn? Can't I be a weightlifter at sunrise? Can't I be a weightlifter at sunrise? He goes to the beach on the weekends. He goes to the beach on the weekends. They divorced after 10 years of marriage. They divorced after 10 years of marriage. They will be magicians in the night. They will be magicians in the night. If there's no chance of a storm, I'll go out. If there's no chance of a storm, I'll go out. Are we holding at noon? Are we holding at noon? I just got a text from my sister. I just got a text from my sister. I'm not sure I understand what you're saying. I'm not sure I understand what you're saying. It's 8:15. It's 8:15. Can't you get a job? Can't you get a job? Probably the best way to learn English is to live in an English-speaking country. Probably the best way to learn English is to live in an English-speaking country. Last year they keep. Last year they keep. Shouldn't he go to war? Shouldn't he go to war? After an hour they can't make masseuses. After an hour they can't make masseuses. His stepfather is a preacher. His stepfather is a preacher. He also likes to do sports. He also likes to do sports. Her husband is a swimmer. Her husband is a swimmer. Then we can be paramedics. Then we can be paramedics. I don't notice anything special about it. I don't notice anything special about it. I'm taking 2 weeks. I'm taking 2 weeks. This is beyond the limits of possibility. This is beyond the limits of possibility. I do not trust you. I do not trust you. He drinks coffee in the morning. He drinks coffee in the morning. The meeting between the two leaders focused on trade agreements. The meeting between the two leaders focused on trade agreements. Armchair. Armchair. Disclaimer. Disclaimer. Not yelling after 2 weeks? Not yelling after 2 weeks? Fruit salad. Fruit salad. Not close. Not close. Do they always come back? Do they always come back? All tickets for the concert are sold out. All tickets for the concert are sold out. I am taking a shower. I am taking a shower. She danced at the party. She danced at the party. He wouldn't get off the ship. He wouldn't get off the ship. I haven't been a scavenger for 10 years. I haven't been a scavenger for 10 years. Did not behave. Did not behave. He will not be a poet often. He will not be a poet often. Can she become a hairdresser later? Can she become a hairdresser later? He closed his eyes and took a deep breath. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath. I agree with your thinking. I agree with your thinking. He is on a vacation. He is on a vacation. I am working hard to improve my vocabulary. I am working hard to improve my vocabulary. They become cops every week. They become cops every week. I can't concentrate on my work because of this noise. I can't concentrate on my work because of this noise. Don't they dance at noon? Don't they dance at noon? Everybody knows this. Everybody knows this. Doesn't it change after 2 weeks? Doesn't it change after 2 weeks? So look, you live alone. So look, you live alone. May come at sunrise. May come at sunrise. Has this happened to you before? Has this happened to you before? Broken. Broken. They listen to the radio. They listen to the radio. To throw. To throw. You should not leave the kitchen while cooking on the stove. You should not leave the kitchen while cooking on the stove. Don't they often do carpentry? Don't they often do carpentry? Would we normally notice? Would we normally notice? They cannot win. They cannot win. What jobs should we take? What jobs should we take? Do you have any concerns? Do you have any concerns? In 3 hours we have to shout. In 3 hours we have to shout. Should they talk? Should they talk? Was his grandfather an ambassador? Was his grandfather an ambassador? Inseparable at sunset. Inseparable at sunset. He had lived in that house for 10 years before deciding to move. He had lived in that house for 10 years before deciding to move. Can we add? Can we add? He was looking at his younger sister. He was looking at his younger sister. I'm going to the shopping center. I'm going to the shopping center. They were playing chess when they realized it was midnight. They were playing chess when they realized it was midnight. Then we can be paramedics. Then we can be paramedics. May not name immediately. May not name immediately. When the concert is over, I will be listening to my favorite songs live. When the concert is over, I will be listening to my favorite songs live. You shouldn't pull it after 3 centuries. You shouldn't pull it after 3 centuries. Was he drinking? Was he drinking? The drop in temperature caused a sudden increase in demand for heating oil. The drop in temperature caused a sudden increase in demand for heating oil. Let me show you around the city. Let me show you around the city. This is concern. This is concern. The equipment was huge and it was difficult to escape. The equipment was huge and it was difficult to escape. Wouldn't you recommend after 2 nights? Wouldn't you recommend after 2 nights? 3 afternoons you are a jester. 3 afternoons you are a jester. Challenge yourself and you will achieve great things. Challenge yourself and you will achieve great things. Our brother is a translator. Our brother is a translator. Always understandable. Always understandable. I'm going to buy a new dress for the party. I'm going to buy a new dress for the party. I didn't want a big house. I didn't want a big house. Was your son a director? Was your son a director? My nephew was a gardener. My nephew was a gardener. Violence. Violence. You enter school. You enter school. Did you become a grocer afterwards? Did you become a grocer afterwards? But you need a social security number, we have to account for it. But you need a social security number, we have to account for it. The answer to the question is 42. The answer to the question is 42. Rarely will he care. Rarely will he care. Is her stepbrother a pharmacist? Is her stepbrother a pharmacist? Doesn't he look at the sunset? Doesn't he look at the sunset? We didn't watch. We didn't watch. Is questioning. Is questioning. He is married. He is married. One, do you want to come with me? One, do you want to come with me? Can't fix it after 5 weeks? Can't fix it after 5 weeks? John deserves a promotion. John deserves a promotion. Will I be a doctor at night? Will I be a doctor at night? You can be an editor at dawn. You can be an editor at dawn. Our half-brother was president. Our half-brother was president. It seems you left me no choice. It seems you left me no choice. He writes poetry in his spare time. He writes poetry in his spare time. At the end of the month, I will have paid off all my debts. At the end of the month, I will have paid off all my debts. Should not catch. Should not catch. I'm in the room with the piano. I'm in the room with the piano. Were his cousins congressmen? Were his cousins congressmen? I like to go to museum. I like to go to museum. Can I have your flight itinerary, please? Can I have your flight itinerary, please? I'm not sure what you want to say. I'm not sure what you want to say. You understand that, right? You understand that, right? Do they send? Do they send? The easy-to-use software was quite popular among users. The easy-to-use software was quite popular among users. I'm in a room with 2 windows. I'm in a room with 2 windows. Was his grandson a drummer? Was his grandson a drummer? Grading chart. Grading chart. Isn't he a paramedic every year? Isn't he a paramedic every year? They go to the lake to swim. They go to the lake to swim. May ask next year. May ask next year. It's not bounce. It's not bounce. Grandchildren combine. Grandchildren combine. Are they starting a war? Are they starting a war? Isn't he always a landscaper? Isn't he always a landscaper? If you want, let's end this meeting. If you want, let's end this meeting. Is her aunt a gardener? Is her aunt a gardener? I am going to school. I am going to school. Is her aunt a rapper? Is her aunt a rapper? Were his grandchildren weather presenters? Were his grandchildren weather presenters? I may not always look. I may not always look. I didn't see any problem. I didn't see any problem. Isn't it the golfer decade? Isn't it the golfer decade? He had lost his keys and could not find them anywhere. He had lost his keys and could not find them anywhere. Can't they touch at noon? Can't they touch at noon? I was studying when you came home. I was studying when you came home. Do I often forget? Do I often forget? What is your favorite drink? What is your favorite drink? I'm looking for a place to park my car. Do you know where I can do it on campus? I'm looking for a place to park my car. Do you know where I can do it on campus? The team was winning by a hair's margin. The team was winning by a hair's margin. Please give us your account number. Please give us your account number. Are their husbands bankers? Are their husbands bankers? Let me tag you in the chat about which topic they are talking about. Let me tag you in the chat about which topic they are talking about. He is not as fast as you. He is not as fast as you. Breach. Breach. Which is your favorite aquarium? Which is your favorite aquarium? Let us do it. Let us do it. Aren't we missionaries after a weekend? Aren't we missionaries after a weekend? Are you a bus driver? Are you a bus driver? Yes, I wrote to Tony. Yes, I wrote to Tony. Should not referee every year. Should not referee every year. Can't handle the dawn? Can't handle the dawn? The child is beyond criticism. The child is beyond criticism. Was his half-brother a model? Was his half-brother a model? I haven't had lunch yet. I haven't had lunch yet. I am interested in learning about other cultures. I am interested in learning about other cultures. You should not share your passwords with anyone. You should not share your passwords with anyone. May not test occasionally. May not test occasionally. What's in your hand? What's in your hand? We didn't talk to each other like that. We didn't talk to each other like that. Usually not a surgeon. Usually not a surgeon. We can't use it after 4 nights. We can't use it after 4 nights. Right at noon? Right at noon? Shall we be messengers at dawn? Shall we be messengers at dawn? It could be poison. It could be poison. Was his half-sister a guard? Was his half-sister a guard? Did not usually teach. Did not usually teach. Do they change at 5 p.m.? Do they change at 5 p.m.? Was your mother a football player? Was your mother a football player? He is never a cop. He is never a cop. I will program the right thing. I will program the right thing. Wasn't it fear? Wasn't it fear? I'm in the room on the other side of the house. I'm in the room on the other side of the house. They would manage 4 afternoons. They would manage 4 afternoons. We give direction at sunrise. We give direction at sunrise. I can't find my black hat. I can't find my black hat. I take a shower in the morning. I take a shower in the morning. You take advantage. You take advantage. This is indisputable. This is indisputable. Can't inspect? Can't inspect? We will not continue. We will not continue. 10 years. 10 years. Wouldn't they seldom take notes? Wouldn't they seldom take notes? Can't they handle? Can't they handle? Don't I love? Don't I love? I shouldn't be a player in 3 minutes. I shouldn't be a player in 3 minutes. I need a new battery for my car. I need a new battery for my car. They go to the lake to swim. They go to the lake to swim. Your uncle was a lifesaver. Your uncle was a lifesaver. His brother is an engineer. His brother is an engineer. Our grandmother was an economist. Our grandmother was an economist. Your friend is the manager. Your friend is the manager. I'm ready to go whenever you want. I'm ready to go whenever you want. My brother is an interviewer. My brother is an interviewer. They will play football in the park later today. They will play football in the park later today. Then they shouldn't be detective. Then they shouldn't be detective. After one night we have to make a dietitian. After one night we have to make a dietitian. It was obvious. It was obvious. A jar of raspberry jam. A jar of raspberry jam. Can't you run? Can't you run? I should marry. I should marry. Can we finish this by the end of the day? Can we finish this by the end of the day? We must work together to achieve our goals. We must work together to achieve our goals. Is it incalculable? Is it incalculable? Will they care now? Will they care now? I probably smile and laugh a lot. I probably smile and laugh a lot. I'm going to have to miss the game tonight because I have to take care of my sick grandmother. I'm going to have to miss the game tonight because I have to take care of my sick grandmother. Wasn't he a lunchtime waiter? Wasn't he a lunchtime waiter? What kind of music do you like? What kind of music do you like? Next month we will go on a long journey. Next month we will go on a long journey. Will they be important? Will they be important? Let me get the story of why other countries don't learn, and I'll get back to you. Let me get the story of why other countries don't learn, and I'll get back to you. Isn't he a nighttime mechanic? Isn't he a nighttime mechanic? Were your parents detectives? Were your parents detectives? Should they insist? Should they insist? Was your uncle a manager? Was your uncle a manager? You can't imagine daily. You can't imagine daily. He loved to play the piano. He loved to play the piano. Gray is often seen as a depressing color. Gray is often seen as a depressing color. What day will be tomorrow? What day will be tomorrow? Is your aunt a maid? Is your aunt a maid? Can't you wash next year? Can't you wash next year? I'd be back in 5 minutes. I'd be back in 5 minutes. Won't he report? Won't he report? We can leave for 2 weeks. We can leave for 2 weeks. Do you have a limit each week? Do you have a limit each week? Backward compatibility. Backward compatibility. Number 3 is also solved. Number 3 is also solved. I'm going for the weekend. I'm going for the weekend. Were you interested in 5 a.m. before? Were you interested in 5 a.m. before? The equipment was very busy and it was very difficult to escape. The equipment was very busy and it was very difficult to escape. Can we discuss this in more detail at our next meeting? Can we discuss this in more detail at our next meeting? I don't want to lose my machine for losses. I don't want to lose my machine for losses. I am football player. I am football player. You can talk weekly. You can talk weekly. Aren't we soon to be stockbrokers? Aren't we soon to be stockbrokers? How many sisters and how many brothers do you have? How many sisters and how many brothers do you have? Will he listen? Will he listen? I'll catch up in a century. I'll catch up in a century. You can never place it. You can never place it. I want you to go home. I want you to go home. I have toothache. I have toothache. I shouldn't measure. I shouldn't measure. Can't they protect normally? Can't they protect normally? Sometimes I don't have lunch. Sometimes I don't have lunch. Math class. Math class. I am doing something important. I am doing something important. He did not dress at night. He did not dress at night. Regular exercise has many benefits. Regular exercise has many benefits. We cannot mix. We cannot mix. Please can you help me? Please can you help me? Couldn't show weekly. Couldn't show weekly. It was exercise. It was exercise. Would it be suitable at dusk? Would it be suitable at dusk? Can we complain? Can we complain? Was his wife an innkeeper? Was his wife an innkeeper? Can't I appreciate? Can't I appreciate? Do you have any plans for the weekend? Do you have any plans for the weekend? You cannot do this. You cannot do this. Our children are environmentalists. Our children are environmentalists. Is your aunt a maid? Is your aunt a maid? This is blue. This is blue. Can you recommend me a good book to read? Can you recommend me a good book to read? Your books are in my car. Your books are in my car. He poured himself a cup of coffee. He poured himself a cup of coffee. Aren't we cold right away? Aren't we cold right away? I never got a chance to apologize. I never got a chance to apologize. If it's not freezing, I'm going out. If it's not freezing, I'm going out. Blue is the color of the ocean. Blue is the color of the ocean. Your relatives are entrepreneurs. Your relatives are entrepreneurs. Caught a fish in the lake. Caught a fish in the lake. He fixed the leaking faucet in the bathroom. He fixed the leaking faucet in the bathroom. Can't we shoot at dusk? Can't we shoot at dusk? The consultant will be available to talk to you when you need it. The consultant will be available to talk to you when you need it. I can be a nighttime beautician. I can be a nighttime beautician. Our half-brother is the principal. Our half-brother is the principal. As far as I know. As far as I know. They should not be limited to weekly. They should not be limited to weekly.